What's up, everybody? Brian Baker here with Hunt Fish Camp. We are using the kayak today to hunt public land, which is awesome, and as you can see, had some success accessing areas that are more difficult for a lot of people to access. So in this video, we're going to talk about really two ways that I hunt public land that'll definitely help you out if you want to get out and have some success hunting deer on public, which can be painfully difficult. Lots of people to contend with. And so how to do that, that's what we're going to talk about in this video, along with a little bit of footage of this. And bonus, my son, who's behind the camera right now, shot a big buck on private land, and at the same time I got this one. So we're going to show that one to you too, and maybe have him tell you his story on that buck as well. So stay tuned. Let's get rocking. The sun is really bright, but we are on our way, paddling down. All right, land ho. So here's how we're doing this. And if you hunt public land, this is something you can do absolutely anywhere, rifle season, especially on a day like today. It's late in the season, so it's Friday. Yeah, Friday. There's 3 more days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and public land's been hunted really, really hard already. And so those deer push out of the easy to access areas to get into the thick stuff. It's really cold; things are freezing up. It's windy today too, so they are going to be in thicker stuff bedded down. Now, what's awesome about the wind is if you walk into the wind, you can essentially sneak up on these deer pretty easily. A lot of times you just carefully walk through, you'll get fairly close, they'll stand up and stand and look at you for a little bit because they can't smell you before they take off. So it gives you a moment to take a shot. And right now I'm thinking I might actually see another hunter. Biscuits and gravy. Alright, here's the update. I've seen 2 deer, although I think it's probably actually the same one. But jumped up and they just like moving too quick through all the thick stuff. It never stopped, you buggers. I'm sure it was stood up and stood there like it's supposed to right away, but everything's so tall. The grass is so tall, everything's so thick, so by the time I see it, it already knows what's going on. But it's this kind of stuff, so now I'm hearing him crossing a log to get to other zones. We'll see. Buck down on public land. I'm ecstatic. We gotta get the kayak before it gets dark on us. Let's get him out. Now that's where you dump them. Here we go. I was sitting up in the woods over there, and this beautiful buck. Oh my gosh, he's even nicer than I thought. This is a public land whitetail right there, and I am ecstatic right now. Oh! What is up, everybody? Hunting with the kayak tonight on public land. It is flipping cold out here. I don't know, the wind chills, single digits, if not 0 or even below, but it is cold. And here I was sitting across the river there. I paddled down in. Somebody was actually in the spot that I wanted to sit tonight. Which is fine, public land, right? So I still hunted my way back through, saw a fawn, saw another fawn, probably the same one, and couldn't get a shot at that because I was going to shoot kind of whatever I could find. And lo and behold, sit and wait and wait and wait. And that evening, those other guys shot a doe, which spooked this buck, which I've shot bigger bucks in my life for sure, but all on private land. I am extremely proud of this buck right here, because and a lot of the work isn't done yet, but I got to work for him a lot harder than you do when you're sitting in a box blind. Get out on the public, great things can happen. It's awesome. This is why hunting out of a kayak is awesome. I could still hunt down along the channel. Eventually I just sat and waited. And when this buck came down and stood by the water's edge, high shoulder shot, just dropped him right there. I didn't want him going anywhere. And got him taken care of, got it out. And that is a cool sight to see. Nice buck in my kayak. Long paddle home in the cold, but I don't even care because I'm so excited about it right now. We are loaded up. I think I gotta get those front legs, back legs in a little bit. Hopefully there's room for me to sit. Let's start paddling. That is absolutely awesome. Wish I had someone else here to record me, get a little paddling footage. It's be interesting. Got to paddle upstream, but we'll get her there. Worth it. So not a lot of footage for you of the actual hunt. Just had that little bit in there, but I want to talk about the 2 ways to hunt public land. Now, this is for rifle season. For bow season, it's a little bit different. But during the gun season, there's a lot of people moving around, and so deer are moving, but you need to set yourself up in the right place. And this is where a lot of people screw up. They just get out in there, they have a place that they like where they've seen deer, and they just go there and sit. Now, I took the kayak for this hunt, so to access areas that are a little more difficult for people to hunt, which is important. It's not even just the accessing it might be difficult, but it's the getting the deer out that is important to think about before you go to these places. So if you're gonna use a canoe or a kayak, or even if you're just walking in, number 1, still hunting. So still hunting is slowly walking through the woods. So really, really, really slow. So taking a few steps and then waiting a couple minutes. Taking a few steps, waiting a couple minutes. You're really trying to not necessarily sneak up on a deer, but you're hoping to see them before they see you if they're moving around. And it's a good way to kind of cover some area. But here's the trick. You have to be going into the wind. So you put the wind in your face and then you slowly walk in, because what happens is the deer can't smell you. So then you get really close before they hear something. Maybe they look, they might stand up and just stand there for you. And that's your opportunity to take that shot. So you always have to be ready, but you have to be going into the wind. If it's a really calm, swirly wind, not as good a time to do that. If it is super crazy strong winds, it's great if you're going into the wind. Again, it covers your noise of walking. You're able to move around really slowly and carefully. And you spend a lot of time just standing. You might stand for 30 minutes in a spot just looking and taking in the surroundings. I did this on this hunt, and I jumped up a fawn a couple of times actually, and she kind of kept moving. I didn't get a good clear shot, but jumped up really close to me. At 30 yards is where the fawn jumped up both times. Actually, I think it was 2 different ones. But so that still hunting is a good way to do as long as you're going into the wind. The second thing I do on public land is really just accessing land that is not as accessed by everybody else. That means walking in a little further and having a deer cart, taking a kayak in or canoe in or a boat to get to somewhere that other people aren't getting to. That'll help you a ton during the rifle season. And then still hunting into the wind. Don't worry about the spot as much as the wind. You have to hunt the wind. And that'll hopefully help you be a little more successful on public land for sure. Keeping in mind, if you've got a big area of public land, there's gonna be a lot of hunters. So figure out where they're accessing and then be in that area where those deer are going to go. So there might not be a lot of deer sign there before the deer season, but once the season kicks off, a lot of those deer are gonna sneak into those bottoms and the marshes and the swamps and places to get away from the hunters. If you can access those areas and keep the wind in your face, you should have some success. So hopefully that helps you out getting out on public land and getting yourself a deer. All right, so you can see, so here's my buck shot on public land. And on that same time, I'll let Bradley tell you about his buck.
I sat out for 4 full days, and on Friday, I sat out from 6:15 to 4:30 in the frigid cold, and we got it done.
Yep, so a full entire day sitting in the sand. And how many deer did you see in that middle part of the day?
0.
It makes for a long day, but totally worth it in the end. This is, what do you weigh, 195-pound deer and 140-pound deer, so big difference there. Awesome. Congrats, buddy. Fish camp. Actually, never mind, you need to be back because the whole point is I want to show the kayak. The kayak, that's important, not the deer.
Not a lot of footage of the, I probably shouldn't say that actually.